Welcome, Indie Game Warriors, to I Dream of Indie. Ole Gamer Joe here with another indie review for you today. If you've yet to do so, be sure to hit that subscribe button below along with the bell notification so that you can keep up with all the latest indie game reviews and previews. Today we're looking at a unique shmup called Void Gore on the PlayStation 4. The game comes to us from developer Panda Indie Studio and was published by East Asia Soft. Void Gore is also available on the Nintendo Switch and Xbox and is currently priced at $4.99 here in North America. At first glance, Void Gore looks like a standard arcade shmup experience, but once you begin playing, you realize that's actually not the case at all. First off, though, I gotta say, the menu font they've chosen for this game is nearly an exact replica of the font used in many NES classics. I couldn't stop thinking about the Nintendo version of Jeopardy for some reason. At any rate, movement and shooting are pretty standard fare in Void Gore, but what sets the game apart is a circle that grows around your ship. If you're able to successfully trap a bullet within this circle and press the circle button at the right moment, that bullet will be destroyed, and should you survive long enough for that circle to grow to its full size and turn red, you'll also be able to kill enemies in this same manner. It's a neat little mechanic that takes a little bit of getting used to, but once I did, I really loved it. It's satisfying to not only mow down waves of skulls, organs, and weird mouths with your main fire, but to also successfully trap and destroy them. This will also help to increase your score and the multiplier attached to it. The main goal of Void Gore, though, is to try and survive as many waves of hell as possible and set a high score. These waves increase in difficulty, as you might expect, but at least outside of the ring mechanic, you will occasionally grab some power-ups along the way. These power-ups can range from missiles that fire at your enemies from different directions to weapon power-ups that make your shots more powerful. And trust me, you're gonna need all the help you can get because things intensify in a hurry in Void Gore, and you'll have to be at your best to successfully have a deep run. You'll likely not be very good at this game during your first few attempts, but fear not, as you do have the ability to upgrade your ship. Performing these upgrades couldn't be any easier, really. You'll simply use the money that you've earned on different runs and increase your firepower, your life, your movement speed, and plenty more. You can actually choose which order you want to upgrade, and it makes a huge difference that's instantly noticeable. The game also features leaderboards, and I think this was a really wise decision here. It adds a nice competitive nature to the game. At my best, I was in the 300s, though I'm positive that's not going to last very long. I have to be honest here, I was hooked on this game for a little while. I got bit by the one more try bug, but that said, some of the enemy AI, mainly those mouths from hell, which I never want to see again, did feel a little too magnetic and on the cheap side. While you do have a general idea of where enemies are coming from thanks to an on-screen indicator, at times it felt like I was running into impossible to avoid situations, but again, nobody said it was going to be easy, and the majority of mistakes I made were completely my own fault. This is not a casual shmup, however. You can expect a really brutal challenge here, but one that feels fast, frantic, and often rewarding. When it comes to visuals, I quite like the nostalgic graphical look of Void Gore. The better you do in this game, the more backgrounds you'll unlock, which I thought was pretty cool. Changing the background in a way makes it feel like you're playing on a different level, even though you aren't, so it's a clever little visual trick, and I think the bizarre enemy designs are interesting, to say the least. The game doesn't go too crazy with flashing lights, which I can appreciate, and I also like the customizable options here, such as being able to turn off screen shake, which I'm generally not the biggest fan of. I also have to tip my hat to the menus in this game. It looks like you're running off of an old school computer, and again, that Jeopardy Nintendo font. Absolutely loved it. Void Gore doesn't feature a ton of musical compositions, but what's here is pretty great. The soundtrack gave off a bit of a Sega vibe with some grimy tones that change tempo depending on your progression through the level, and it also changes depending on how much damage you've sustained. I love when music plays into the gameplay, and it works pretty effectively here. The sound effects are fairly limited, however, but they serve the purpose. I walked away somewhat impressed with Void Gore. What a simple premise that's well executed on. The game is great in short bursts and has a nice competitive quality to it with leaderboards included. I loved earning money, diving deeper into hell, and growing my ship stronger through the game's simple upgrade tree. If you seek something that feels a bit fresh in the shmup genre, you may want to consider taking the plunge into hell here. I'm confident you can kick my butt on the leaderboards. We'd like to take a moment now to shout out our great indie warriors who support us through channel memberships: Mitchell Hall, Kevalo, Bunny, Bill Tikez, Christian Cruz, Wesley William Semple. Thank you for all you do for us. It means the world. Everybody else should head down to the description box below where there are a ton of ways to support I Dream of Indie. However you end up doing so, we thank you so much for supporting independent content, and we'll see you for the next video.